And hello everyone, welcome back, and this is another game of the GSSL, and this is Suva. I'm here to cast yet another game from Callmebonjwa and Yakarue. Man, I keep messing that up, I apologize. Yakarue is in the blue again as Protoss, whereas we do have Callme in the red as Protoss as well. Last game, if you didn't miss it, it was a pretty awesome game. You should check it out. Game 1, there was some good pressure on Yakarue's part. He wasn't able to pull it off, though, and in response, Callme did expand and push, and he was able to contain and stop any expansion from Yakarue. And in the end, what ended up occurring was just one massive battle at the end when Yakarue was running low on minerals, and just he had no other choice at that point. So these are a pair of diamond level players, so after seeing that first game, I expect some very good level of play. There was some excellent macro. There was one point where Callme was throwing a stalker up the ramp so that he could see what's going on, and just before it was going to take any damage, he actually blinked it right out. I was shocked. I was just waiting for that thing to explode. Right now we have matching builds at the moment, roughly that 12 gateway, 13 gateway-ish. And both of them, after dropping that, are scouting to have a look around. One of the things is, Callme, he is dropping a pylon out here, which is very interesting that he would want to do that. Huh. Maybe he's just making sure that Yakarue doesn't pull any proxy pylons in this area, because this is a well-known area, right, especially right here, for those proxy pylons. And a proxy gateway, this is very awkward, because it's normally a proxy gateway, you see more along the lines in this area. The whole point of it is that you can get up and into their base very quickly. Very interesting. Yakarue's got to be looking around and trying to figure out what's going on, because at this point, Yakarue, for example, he's got his cybernetics core up and running. He's got his gas going as well. I mean, he is doing the normal build that you kind of expect at this point. And a late assimilator on Callme's part yet again, which will mean that he has plenty of minerals. He has way more. All his probes are on minerals at this point, which will allow him to have a booming economy. Let's see if Yakarue scout. He is probably going to see this gateway, which is very awkwardly placed. I don't get it, but maybe the whole idea is to allow him to start expanding early. If I were Yakarue, the thing I would be doing is I would be getting this stalker out as fast as I can and getting it down there to apply pressure. You know he doesn't have any stalkers out, so that means there's no way that he can fight you at the moment. Anytime he tries to get near you, just a little bit of good micro, and you can never be hit, because ground units-wise, except for Hellions, I believe, stalkers outrun everything. And other than speedlings, of course. Alright, but we are going to see some early pressure. This is a good idea, because if he didn't do this, I really do think that he would have a couple stalkers coming at him in no time. Second and third gateways are coming up for Yakarue. He has nothing in the area to see this scout. He is checking around for any proxies. That's very important. Let's see if he's just taking this, or if he is actually planning on doing some early pressure. If you're going to do a funky gateway in this fashion, I would expect that early pressure, and he still does not have a cybernetic score on. Oh wait, never mind. He has a cybernetic score, but he does not yet have that warp gate research, and he is dropping a forge for those early upgrades like he did last time. When he went into that final fight, he was already up to, I believe, 3 weapons and possibly 1 armor. That is very big. Oh, what was that able to see? It saw the forge coming in, but I don't know if it had enough time to click on it and see what exactly it was that was coming in. And the expand. I guess he was doing this because this does block the way around here. A lot of people like to put a pylon here and come rushing in from the side. This does give him a presence in this area. It is interesting. I think it's a little vulnerable, though, for the fact that, I mean, if you just come back here with a couple stalkers, a couple zealots, you can snipe this and get out. Interesting, nonetheless. If he is allowed to get this nexus up, it's going to be pretty huge. That'll just the longer Yakarue waits, the longer he's going to be behind. He's got 4 gates going, and just 4 gate at the moment. What is he dropping here? Robo, I would assume. Twilight Council. He's going for that early Blink Stalker action, probably. Yakarue is looking to do some pressure, I want to say, because he is not saving up for the Nexus. Yes, he's going to go down and do some pressure. He is bringing that probe so that he can do a proxy pylon. And Callme is doing that early cannon thing, which is a pretty cool idea. You get expansion, get 2 cannons. You try not to get as many cannons as possible, because 2 cannons equals 3 zealots, and 3 zealots in the long run are much more of an advantage to you than a cannon is. Though the bonus is this restricts any DT play, so that is a huge thing. We do have that proxy pylon coming up, and Yakarue is trying to figure out where he wants to come into this. But then again, those 2 cannons are going to make a significant difference. They can take quite a beating, and the problem is, how do you get around it? A couple probes coming out here, dropping some more pylons so that they can warp into a few more units. You got Protoss ground units level 1, weapons on the way, and we do have an engagement. Yakarue quickly is going to have to turn back from that. The problem is, between that cannon and those stalkers, I don't think he has what he needs to break this line. This is a very smart play. If he can bring an observer over here, he can warp right into the base. Oh, but he doesn't have a robotics bay. One move people like to do is they drop this pylon right here, and then get an observer out, and they have vision right up here. If he did this, he would be in the base, and then as soon as these come in to take care of that, you sweep in and take out the expansion. But he is just using it as a close proxy. Very interesting. Blink is on the way. I feel like he's probably waiting for that to finish up before he tries to do any engagement. That will allow him to gain some tactical advantage in here. Lots of sentries, which is a lot of fun force field play, which will stop these. No, that's that's an interesting spot. The bonus is he's going to be able to take out all of these zealots. Yes, that actually was pretty good. I had miscalculated on that. It was that second row of force fields that was really good, stopping those from retreating, and the stalkers couldn't get in. Suddenly, it's a lot more even match at this point. Force fields going up, splitting them in half, but the problem is they can't attack at the moment. Ooh, yeah, wow. Callme is really getting the short end of the stick on this fight. Those were good force field placements. I didn't realize a couple zealots came in, those stalkers were concentrating on them, and they weren't attacking the stalkers who were doing the real damage. The key to any fight is to get rid of those stalkers, or to bring the stalkers in first as meat shields, and we have yet another engagement. Some wonderful blink micro on Yakarue's side. Look at that. Anytime someone loses their shields, he's microing them back, which that allowed him basically to lose no units in that engagement. That was the difference, and he is going to run up into the base, and now that he has vision on the high ground, he can warp right into the base. More of that blink micro, and again, that is allowing him to not lose any stalkers, whereas Callme is losing stalkers in this engagement pretty much non-stop. Oh, and see, there it is. Yep, GG. There's nothing you could do. That was pretty awesome. Very good force field placement. It basically allowed the zealots to get killed off, and at that point it allowed you to split their army in half so that your zealots got killed off, but you were able to kill half of the stalkers. And then the blink micro was basically the real advantage in this. These things kept being blinked back. I mean, you got guys 15 health, got blinked 1 health, this thing survived. That is insane. 4 kills, 5 kills. I mean, that blink micro really made the difference. I would say for future reference, if it's tough because you want to get that Twilight Council up, but if you get a robotics and get an observer right here, he could have blinked right into this base. You know, had him, you know, your army over here, and just kind of, you know, annoying them, and so they weren't focused on it, and then start slowly blinking, you know, getting your groups up there once you have the high ground. Heck, once you had blink, if you had that observer, you could just go right up here and you're in his base. End of game. One thing I wanted to do, see, he wouldn't have seen that edge. It's very key. Alright, but overall, even with this expansion, there was some very, very good pressure by Yakarue. His Blink Stalker micro on that probably was a seal on that game. The force fields definitely helped. Alright, so that was Game 2, and I will be casting Game 3 in a moment, so I will see you next time.